And welcome to Hannity. We start with this Fox News alert. Breaking tonight, the chaos continues at college campuses all across the country. Alexis McAdams will join us live from New York University, where tonight agitators are desperately trying to regroup after many arrests today. Now, this includes Fordham University, where trespassers set up tents inside an academic building and even unfurled their very own giant Antifada banner over a bridge. Meanwhile, on the left coast, UCLA classes have been canceled after what was a brutal night of violence and widespread hand-to-hand fighting as college administrators looked on and they did nothing. At the University of Wisconsin, 4 police officers were injured and nearly 36 so-called protesters were arrested after anti-Israel agitators clashed with law enforcement. At UT, Austin, Texas, numerous weapons, including firearms, were confiscated as police began making arrests there. And last night, right on this program, as it was unfolding, Columbia University thankfully was liberated from the radical pro-Hamas agitators that were squatting on campus for weeks and recently had pillaged an academic building, reportedly even detaining 3 janitors in the process. Order thankfully was restored in a matter of hours without any serious injuries or incidents, all thanks to, frankly, the swift professional work of the NYPD. They deserve a round of applause. Anyway, they were forced to storm Hamilton Hall at Columbia through a second-floor window after the rioters barricaded the building and the building entryway. But the big question moving forward is, will any of these criminals, any of them, be held accountable? According to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, 280 arrests were made at Columbia and City College last night. Of those 280 arrests, 170 perpetrators were already released with a mere summons. That's basically a little more than a parking ticket or a traffic ticket. The rest, they were issued a desk appearance ticket, which is typically used for low-level misdemeanors, and a few might be charged with felonies, but that is TBD, to be determined. In Alvin Bragg's New York, that would likely only happen to somebody with the last name Trump. So as of right now, it appears that very few will be held accountable and are now free to continue, go right back to the rioting. Now, just imagine if they were Trump supporters breaking into a building, holding staff against their will. Do you really think that Joe Biden would be as silent as he is now? Do you think his weaponized Department of Justice, do you think the state of New York would let them go off scot-free? I tend to doubt it. And keep in mind, those participating in Joe Biden's summer of love, well, they aren't all students at Columbia. A professional protest consultant was apparently spotted, quote, instructing a mob of anti-Israel agitators as they were taking over Hamilton Hall. So how is that not a conspiracy to commit a crime? And last night inside of Hamilton Hall, just listen to what the police recovered.
Entering Hamilton Hall, this is not what students bring to school. Okay, this is what professionals bring to campuses and universities. These are heavy industrial chains that were locked with bike locks, and this is what we encountered on every door inside of Hamilton Hall. And so in order for our emergency services group to enter into the building, they had to first cut through these chains, but also get rid of debris and barricaded doors that were barricaded with refrigerators, vending machines, chairs, you name it. They pushed it up against those doors to try and stop us from coming in.
Now, it's not just Columbia. At UT Austin, of the 79 rioters arrested, more than half were not students at all. At the University of South Florida, this 39-year-old was arrested while carrying a gun at an anti-Israel riot on campus. This is a recipe for disaster. And yet, your president, Joe Biden, he's still in hiding. Today, only one closed-door event on his calendar. And why would he ever deviate from that rigorous schedule? Biden reportedly is penciled in to give a speech and address, and he will address this on May 7th. He needs another, 6 whole days to prepare and rest up for it? And even then, I wouldn't expect much. Joe desperately needs the votes from the anti-Semites that are in his party, the people in Congress, the squad, the people that hate the Jewish people, people that hate Israel, and really people that are not particularly fond of this country as well. But we do have some good news tonight. All is not lost. In every corner of America, there are many people that love this country. We don't hear from them a lot because, well, they have jobs and kids and lives, and they're responsible. But these hardworking, peace-loving Americans are everywhere. At the University of North Carolina, amid what is a wave of projectiles, a group of frat brothers, they actually rallied around the school's American flag, protecting it from pro-Palestinian rioters who had already ripped the flag down once and replaced it with the Palestinian flag. Last night, right here, in New York City, the NYPD ripped down another Palestinian flag, threw it on the ground, returning our country's flag to its rightful place. Take a look at this.
That's our flag, folks. Don't take over our buildings and put another flag up. That may be fine to other people, but it's not to me. My uncle died defending this country, and these men and women put their lives on the line. And it's despicable that schools will allow another country flag to fly in our country. So blame me for being proud to be an American. And I thank Commissioner Daughtry for putting that flag back up. We're not surrendering our way of life to anyone.
That was New York City Mayor Eric Adams filling the void left by a president who is unable and unwilling to stand up for our country. And tonight, the hate-filled protests, they continue. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.